Hello, everyone. Welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to Going Solo Life After Relationship Loss. And I just want to thank you so much for being on the show today. Those of you who have made our station the number one internet singles talk network, I want to thank you so much. All of our wonderful information is right there on goingsolomedia.com. Check it out. We've got a brand new look to us. So we hope that you'll check that out and really appreciate where we're going with all that we're doing here on the Going Solo Network. Those of you that don't know me, I am Cece Shatz. I am the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I'm actually a divorce, dating, and a life coach. Really help moving you through some of those dark times in your life and really shedding some light on that transition that you're making, which is what we're going to talk about today. We've got an exciting guest with us. I'm just so excited to have her. I'm going to bring her right up here now. We have Lisa Valdez. Lisa Valdez is the founder of Lisa Talks Love. She's a self-love coach, certified sex educator, and a dating and relationship expert. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me, Cece.
Oh, it is great having you. I tell you what, you have been really well known in your particular area with regards to self-love and really shedding the light on relationships and really embracing those that are in that transition stage. And so, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you decided to go into doing what you're doing now.
Sure, as you already know, I'm Lisa Velazquez, and I help the high achieving single woman heal from toxic relationships to reconnect to herself and to have her glow up and reignite her sexy self, right? Because I really believe that transition is so important. I find that a lot of the time we can go from relationship to relationship and repeat the same patterns and we have no idea why. Or we can have, a breakup and then we just stop dating completely and we never do the work on ourselves. And that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. I want to be very clear about that. We never take a deep dive into who we really are and what really our heart truly desires. So this work is something I've been so passionate about. I can definitely, go into my story, but I always want people to know that when you're reigniting your sexy self, it is a part of you that gets to be with you throughout your relationship journey, right? From reclaiming who you are and being single to when you start dating from a place of self-love. And then when you choose to get into a relationship, whether that's to get married or cohabitate or whatever that looks like for you, this is the part of you that you consistently get to have. And a lot of the time, when we're heartbroken, we don't feel ignited, right? We don't feel connected to ourselves. So that's why I really wanted to talk about this topic today. And I really just want to get started and share more.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because it is so true. When we come from a relationship loss, we kind of feel like we're a little bit beat up, right? We don't really feel like we're very sexy, and it takes us a while to be able to get back in the groove of things. And so, how does one do this when you're coming from a heartbreak? How do you get back into really the essence of yourself, really your sexy self? So, can you share a couple steps with us?
Absolutely. The one thing I do with my clients in my glow up program is that we go through 6 different pillars. So I'm going to share one of those pillars with you today. And the
Okay.
first pillar is grace, right? The G in glow up. So the main thing I want ladies that are listening to this, everyone that's listening to this, right? If you're single and you've recently had a breakup and you're going through heartbreak, right? And you're trying to find yourself again. And remember who you were before that relationship or the person you've always wanted to step into being when you're in relationship, when you're single. You need to have grace for yourself. You need to take the time and be kind. And when we're talking about grace, I break that down even further. So the first thing I want you to think about is to have gratitude. I want you to have gratitude for the fact that even if you're heartbroken right now, you are here. You are on this planet. You are alive. You survived that relationship. If it was a very tumultuous relationship, even if it was an abusive relationship, right? A relationship that can be narcissistic or draining or physically abusive. If you're here right now listening to this show, watching, right? Listening, you survived. You did it. You were here. Even if you feel like you're not your strongest right now,
Hmm.
the fact that you're here listening and learning and doing something and taking one step to actually heal and find yourself again, right? Or reconnect to yourself for the first time, right? Because what if you were in a 25-year marriage or a 10-year marriage or a relationship that you were in that long that may not have had the commitment label, right? But you were fully committed emotionally. If you're no longer in that relationship, welcome to the new era of your life. Be grateful that you're here and look at the things that you are able to connect to now, right? But the first thing is to start with gratitude for yourself, gratitude for the choice you made to leave. The second thing I want you to look at is to reconnect. Now, that starts with reconnecting to yourself. And you might be thinking, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am outside of that relationship. I may not know who I am outside of being, out of a relationship, period. I don't know who I am being single. So it's really important to start reconnecting to who you are, asking yourself these questions. Who was I before this relationship? Did I have an identity that I felt good about? Was my identity only attached to this relationship? Right? You want to look at who you've been down the road of relationships, right? How are you outside of that? Are you looking to connect with your friends? Because the reconnect is one, you got to reconnect with yourself. Ask yourself, like, who you've been, who you want to be, and who do you miss being, right? Because sometimes we suppress parts of ourselves to be in relationships. And I'm here to tell you that the self that you're reconnecting to and being single and being vibrant and being energetic and really understanding who you still get to be that person in relationship. The difference can only be if you are choosing monogamy, that's different, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy your life and you can't connect with your friends. And the other piece of reconnect is your community, right? Your friends, your family. Were there people you were isolated from,
Hmm.
right? Because of this relationship? Unfortunately, if you were in a narcissistic relationship or any kind of abusive relationship, you may have completely let go of your relationships with your friends, right? Your community, your colleagues, people that you connected with to enjoy other aspects of your life aside from being in a relationship, a romantic committed relationship. There are other relationships that matter. And these relationships reflect back to us who we are,
Hmm.
right? You can see your greatness, you can see your uniqueness, you can see what you contribute as a human being to yourself and to others when you are connected to the people in your community. Unfortunately, if you're in a relationship where that has you choosing to just focus on the partner solely or the union, you can miss out on that. You can get lost in it. You can get engulfed in the identity of just being someone's partner. So it's about thinking about, again, who was I before this and who do I want to be when I get into a relationship again? Aside from reconnecting to myself being single, reconnecting to my community, my hobbies, things that I enjoy, I get to be this new profound person that doesn't lose themselves in relationships. So reconnecting to yourself starts there. And then as you do that first, because you want reconnecting to you and your self love and self value to be an anchor for the relationships you get into. You are the grounding. If you are losing you, this may not be a place you want to be in. So ask yourself that within your friendships, your relationships, even with your family. You may want to make sure and say, wait a second, I might lose myself in other relationships besides the romantic. Why is that? You want to start reconnecting and doing a little reflection on that.
Yeah,
And
I like what you're saying. And, what comes to mind is like a lot of times when we say be your sexy self, we think of sex itself, but actually what we're thinking of is the essence of who you are. And we
absolutely.
all we all are different. We all have, this special essence about us. And so, where you see some might be a little bit more outgoing than others, they may be a little bit, totally different than other people. That's because you have that uniqueness about your essence. And so it's really creating and homing in on you, and having that self-love, that self-talk, that how you want to be, going forward in your life. So I really love what you're saying. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. And I love what you just said because it is about the essence of who you are. Your
Hmm.
sexy self is about you being your authentic self, you being comfortable in your body, your spirit, your mind, your heart. And it's about reigniting that person. And that's what makes us sexy, right? There's this undeniable shine and glow and confidence that we have.
Hmm.
And that is different to each person, like you said. And I think we need to honor that, right? And I want to go into the next step, the third one, which is awareness,
Hmm.
right? When you're having gratitude and when you're reconnecting, you're going to develop a stronger sense of awareness of yourself, of your surroundings, of your relationships. Don't let go of that awareness. When that awareness comes in, it might be a little scary. You're like, wait a second, I'm realizing all the things that I did that I'm not that happy about. Because
Hmm.
the biggest part of reigniting your sexy self is taking your own power back by not blaming other people. Because when we're blaming other people, we're not taking responsibility for who we are and how we showed up in relationships. Now, I am not discounting any type of mistreatment you may have experienced in a relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family relationship, whatever that looks like for you. But in this moment, I want you to know that owning your power is about not blaming, but responding. Your ability to respond in the relationships in your life, your ability to respond in the situations that you find yourself in as you're in committed romantic relationships, as you are dating, taking that responsibility is you not taking burdens for others. It's like, I get to look at how I show up and I get to choose how I want to be in these relationships. So I know who I am and I could say what's for me and what's not. So when you have this deep sense of awareness of what's going on around you and how you can actually change and shift those things, not change other people, not turn into a pretzel, recognize how you can maintain who you are and have healthier relationships. And that starts with checking in with your own awareness of what's going on in your life.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that, how you show up, because I think that is a very crucial thing as we're out there and we're starting to date. We're starting to make that transition into dating. And so, when we are, starting to do that, we start developing relationships. I call it relationship building, right? We start developing, start creating those kind of relationships. And so how we show up in those that makes the crucial point, like beginning to set our own boundaries, being able to understand ourselves and what is our self-worth is, well, how we want to proceed with, the picture of our lives, right? How we're moving forward with that. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I think boundaries are the biggest thing you need to look at when you are reigniting your sexy self because boundaries support you to be grounded in self love,
Hmm.
be grounded in self value and self respect. It is where the self starts, right? Because if you don't have boundaries, you're not going to know where you end and someone else begins. A lot of the time that can get blurred. And if you don't start maintaining those boundaries, and besides maintaining them, you have to create them. A lot of the time, people have no idea how to create boundaries, right? They never learned boundaries growing up. They didn't see anyone else have boundaries. So they think a lot of the time, love is just giving everything I have. And it's like, whoa, like there is another person with you in relationship. You need to look at what's healthy for you and what isn't. And a lot of the time, you need to set a boundary by understanding what it is that you want, right? You can figure out what it is that you want, but then ask yourself, so I need to push to get these things or can I attract them? And the key to attracting them is to aligning with those things, right? If you know you want to date again, but you know that you're not into being casual, if you notice someone that you're dating is starting to go down, wanting to go down the casual route, you can let them know, hey, like, I like you. I'm enjoying our time getting to know one another. But I'm getting the vibe that you seem to want something more casual, and I'm actually looking for something more serious, and the person can respond with, well, I'm not really looking for anything serious, but I really like you and I'm having fun with you. But if you know that that's not what you want, say, I mean, like I said, I do like you, but I think we're looking for two different things. And, it was really nice knowing you, and I hope you find what you're looking for. And
Right.
this, and a lot of the time we don't want to say that because of the scarcity mindset. Like, I just found someone I really like. But if you don't set that boundary, you're showing the universe that you actually are going to settle for what it is that you don't want. So if you say no to what you don't want, you're making space for what you do want to show up in your life, right? And
Yes.
it starts with those things.
Absolutely. The thing is, too, is if you decide, let's say you don't create a boundary, right? And you decide you're starting to go down this path that you don't want to go on, then you lose your total true self. You lose your essence of who you are. And so, and a lot of times that you're creating a pattern, right? You're noticing that you've created the same pattern from before. And so if you start into a relationship that is not working for you, you have to step back for a minute and say, why is this not working? Because the problem is, it's probably because it doesn't resonate with your true essence of who you are. It doesn't balance with the core of who you are.
I
And so
completely agree.
these are very important things as you're not only as you're stepping out into your new sexy self, right, after heartbreak, but as you're moving through and developing these relationships, you have to kind of take a gut check, right, to see if it's working for you, don't you think?
Absolutely. Like I said, I could not agree more. It's a lot of the time we go down that road based on one decision, right? That has us spiraling down the road we don't want to go down anymore, right? And I think it's important that you take a step back, right? I want you to know that any moment in your dating life, if you realize, if you have that awareness that, wait a second, I don't want this. This is going down a road, a back end alley that I don't want to be in. Turn around, okay? You can turn around. You can also stop where you are. That's one way to not go forward down the road. You just stop. Stop, take a break, maybe don't see them for a day or two and reevaluate and recalibrate and reignite. Like, wait a second, this is not what I want. Why am I choosing this if I know this is not what I want? And see what comes up for you in that reflection. Because a lot of the time it's, well, I was enjoying myself, or I haven't met someone I felt this way about, like felt the same way about in a long time, that there's a good chemistry. And I'm letting you know, chemistry is not going to support you in the long run. That will fizzle out if it's just based on that. There needs to be a level of stability and compatibility, that you're both on the same road to that relationship that you both feel you're aligned to have. Not what you hope somebody will want to do down the road, not the potential that you see in someone. Because right now, you're not potential, you're it, right? You're the moment. You are your sexy self. You know what it is that you want. You're aligned with your values, but do not let someone, or the chemistry of being with a person, or the idea of a relationship, just the idea, have you compromise on those values and cross your own boundaries. Because our boundaries are for us. Other people have no clue what our boundaries are unless we share that. But that's not going to be their priority. That's your first priority. And if someone is right for you, they're going to respect those boundaries and they're going to show you that. And they're going to teach you what their boundaries are too. It's a two-way street. But if
Mhm.
you're really looking to set your own, you've got to start with you and reflecting on, wait a second, where am I not creating and where am I not maintaining my own boundaries?
Right. Oh, that's so valuable. I tell you, as I'm thinking about this, and so often we're afraid to do that because we think, oh, if we set our boundaries, if we make our boundaries be known, it's like, oh, we're being this stern person. But in reality, what we're doing is we're actually sharing with maybe our potential partner what we truly are wanting. And if they truly care about you, and that boundary is within the scope of what they want, they're of course going to let you know, but at least they know. I mean, we don't always tell them. And so especially with a woman with a guy, the guys need to know. They don't really always understand. They don't get us at times, and so they need to be told exactly what it is that we're looking for. And so if we are looking for a long-term relationship, then you need to say straight up, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. That doesn't work for you, that's okay. It's great knowing you. You just have to keep and be nice about it and be matter of fact about it. If the guy is truly into you, um, he will let you know, and he will understand. The other thing I want to talk about, this long-term relationship, because this is always a big a thing for a lot of what I hear out there is, well, I'm looking for a long term. He says he's not. The majority of times men will say they're not looking for a long term, but in reality they truly are looking for a long term if they meet the right person. So
Exactly.
you can always say, I'm looking for the long term. with the right person. You could say something like that, and then that will trigger him to think, oh yeah, I'm looking for the same thing. And so they get it. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
great information, awesome information you're giving us. So let's take our break real quick. Let's make sure we share all of the information. Of course, you're the founder, Lisa. You're the founder of Lisa Talks Love, self-love coach, a certified sex educator, and a dating and a relationship expert. You can find her right here on her website, which is Lisa Talks Love. That's LISATALKS LOVE.com. So make sure that you guys check out her website, connect with her there. And then she is offering a free gift for us. So we want to thank her very much for that. You just go to lisatalkslove.com/free gift. So you go right on there and go free gift, and then you can get your free gift from Lisa. So we appreciate that. Now, I am just loving what you're saying, and we're talking about how to reignite your sexy self after heartbreak. We've got so much more. So stick around with us, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact goingsolodirectory.com.
Welcome back. You guys are listening to Going Solo Life After Relationship Loss on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, the #1 Internet Singles Talk Network. I am Cece Shatz, your host here today. I am the Doyenne of Relationship Building. Wow, we have really talked a lot. And you guys, if you missed the first part of the show, you got to go back and listen. We have a wonderful guest here today, Lisa Valdez. And I know I don't say your name correctly, so I do apologize for that. You are the founder of Lisa Talks Love, self-love coach. You're a certified sex educator, a dating and relationship expert. We're talking about how to reignite your sexy self after heartbreak. I just want to recap just really quick, and I can't even begin to cover all that we talked about. But we talked about gratitude for yourself as a #1 step to be able to move forward. We talked about reconnecting who you really are. And I love that. Really concentrating on your self-love, really the anchor of who you are. And then also we talked about awareness, really having that true awareness, understanding, how you show up in life. How are you showing up? How do you want to show up, right? You want to create that. You want to create the ownership of yourself, right? The power that you have from within, and you want to be able to respond to that. And so we talked a lot, and so you got to make sure you go back and listen to the first batch because Lisa is truly awesome. She's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit more about that. How can we have such, I always say, Lisa, the biggest thing that holds us back is fear, right? And so as we're moving forward, trying to create this new essence of ourselves, the sexy self, trying to really understand who we are and the core of us, but we have such a fear of moving forward. What would you say to people about this fear of moving and making this transition into really stepping into their life?
I'm so glad that you brought that up. So the next step in this process is courage, right? So we talked about having gratitude, we talked about reconnecting to yourself, we talked about having awareness, and now we're going to talk about having the courage to communicate. And the reason why I say courage to communicate is that when was the last time you had enough courage or had the courage to communicate what you truly want, right? Maybe you haven't been speaking up in relationships. Maybe you've gotten to the point where you don't even remember what you truly desire.
Mhm.
Maybe you're afraid to say it out loud. And I've heard this so many times from clients like, I haven't even sat down with what I really want. I've been so heartbroken that I forgot my own desires. I'm afraid to even go there. I'm afraid to date again, right? So it's about having the courage to communicate. You get to say it out loud. I want big love, right? I want to start dating again. Or if you are dating, right, and you don't feel sexy yet, right? You're still reigniting. This is the part. Have the courage to communicate. Have the courage to communicate what it is you truly want. Have the courage to communicate and join different groups and have a good time, right? A lot of the time, it's about talking to other people. It's about talking about what it is that you want. Maybe the person that you meet in a new group that you join, who may be your new best friend, right, will connect you with someone that you end up wanting to date because you finally said, I'm ready to date. I'm ready to have, big love. I'm ready to put myself out there. Do you know anyone that you think is a great person that, has the same type of values that I have? A lot of the time we're afraid of getting hurt. So we don't say what we want because we are afraid. So I would always say choose courage over fear. And I would always ask yourself when you find this to be challenging, right? How would you feel if you didn't have the big love? How would you feel if you didn't go for the things? And I'm not talking about your immediate answer of, well, I'm scared, so, I don't want to do it. I'm talking about the long-term feeling. How do you want to feel when you're 85 years old, right? Do you want to have regrets of not putting yourself out there again, right? Do you not want to take that chance? But that courage to communicate, this is all about also finding the courage to step into a community of new people. Maybe you need to be around new people, right?
Mhm.
And it's going to take courage to connect, to communicate, to share, to commune with other people again. Once you figure out who you are, you need to start embodying that person in the real world, right? And it's going to take courage to do that. It's going to take courage to commune. It's going to take courage to put yourself out there. It's not just about the dating piece. When you start putting yourself out there in your hobbies, in your friendships, and, in your other relationships, in your communities, you get a little nervous, right? It's like going to the first day of school, right? And we're upon that now in the fall season. But it's like going back to school and remembering how fun it felt. If you think about it, and maybe in high school felt more fun than maybe when you were going to first grade, right? Thinking about those different levels and being courageous and putting yourself out there one step at a time and starting to communicate what it is that you want. So people start to hear you and say, well, I heard that she's looking for something serious. So I'm not going to introduce her to Jeff. I'm going to introduce her to Manny, right? Because maybe he's more ready than this person. Like, you never know. So people need to hear you speaking what it is that you want, and also embodying that by your behavior, right? Embodiment is, if I want to be healthy, I need to get better sleep. I need to start choosing healthier foods. I need to be physically mobile. I need to go out and move and walk around. I need to exercise, whatever that looks like for you. You can't just say you want health and not do the steps it takes to be healthy. And it's baby steps. Maybe it's drinking water and cutting out juices, right? So if you're like, you know what, I want to go meet people, so versus going to a big singles party, maybe I want to start an online profile, right? Maybe I'm, ready to just get it out there a little bit. Maybe I'll put 2 pictures, and then in another week I'll put up my profile. Like, you take the baby steps to get there, but it's going to take courage. And I promise you, everything you're looking for is on the other side of fear, right? So I think that we're going to be fearful, but no one courageous wasn't fearful at first. They just they said, you know what? I'd rather try and do it than not. So I invite you to be courageous from there.
Yeah, I love that. I really do love that. And I love the idea of connecting with other people, because sometimes as we're on this journey, we don't always know all that we want, right? And so as we meet other people and we start talking and we start thinking and we start really being involved, we start to understand what it is that we truly want. And so we want to kind of keep adding to our list of things. And then also it raises our vibration. I know we never talked about this before, but I love that idea that, a lot of times when we get out and we start talking to other people, it just, have you ever been with someone that just lightens you up, and you gravitate to them and you want to talk to them? Well, that's the vibration of that. And so you want to also have that yourself. So it helps raise your vibration. It helps, get you really kind of going to be able to move forward into that transformation. And it's so true. It's just, I love what you have to say. It's so great. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Absolutely. First, I want to say I love what you said about the vibration. I'm all about the vibes. So I really love that, because we don't realize that maybe that's the vibration that's been missing since the breakup, since the relationship. Maybe our vibration has been down. And maybe it's because we're not surrounding ourselves with the kind of people that celebrate who we are and reflect that back to us, and vice versa with the friendships. And those friendships can help you align and stay aligned. Right? Because you know who you are, your authentic self with your friends, and the new community, the new community that you connect with, you can shine and be who you are. And that's going to actually help you attract the kind of person you want to be with. But that's right for you. That's aligned with you. But I also want to say it's going to help you be yourself on that road, no matter where the road takes you, whether that's being single, whether that's getting married, being in a relationship, choosing not to do those things, choosing to go solo for as long as you choose, but you still get to vibrate high and be your, sexy self and be aligned. And being sexy is about confidence. It is about the confidence to be your authentic self and be unapologetically valuing yourself and valuing others in that sense, right? Because you're going to reflect back more people who value themselves too, but you will be challenged by people who want you to not do that. And that's all about the boundary conversation that we had earlier, right? In the first part of the show, right? Looking at, I'm vibrating at this level. I feel great about myself. My friends are reflecting back to me. This person I'm dating is reflecting that back to me too. But this other person, their energy is kind of bringing me down and kind of shame me a little bit for being who I am and honoring myself and respecting myself. You want to look at the difference in that, right? There's a difference between someone having a difference of opinion and a person that's trying to get you to devalue yourself or is devaluing you. So when you're vibrating high, you're going to notice who has you step out of your own self-love and power and honoring who you are and who celebrates those things. And
you want to be with those type of people that do celebrate you. You don't want to, because you don't want to get with the people that are negative. If they seem to be totally negative, this is not who you want to be with. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
So I'm going to give you the last piece is the eager, right? So we talked about gratitude, reconnecting with yourself and others. We talked about having the awareness once that happens, the truth bombs, the downloads you're going to get about who you are from all for gratitude and the reconnecting. And the courage, right? Because after we get the awareness, we might be a little fearful, but when you get the courage, and let me say, you step into the courage, right? You reclaim the courage, because fear is going to show up regardless. It's what we choose to do in spite of that fear that's going to have us have what we want, because we chose courage. You want to choose courage, right? And anchor yourself with great people around you. And the last piece is eager. Reigniting your sexy self, that last piece, so we have us be vibrant and sexy and radiant and exuding confidence and beautiful grace, is your eagerness. What are you eager to experience? What are you eager to express, right? This is what I want you to focus on. What do I desire, right? Because when you're eager to learn something, eager to experience something, it is going to create a new sense of vibrancy in your life that's about you. Because maybe you want to travel around the world and you've never got to do that. Maybe there's specific places in the world you want to go. Maybe you want to go to Paris and go to the Eiffel Tower. Maybe you want to go to Italy and taste the delicious foods. You know, maybe you just want to go on a globe vacation where you're just luxuriating on a beach. And then what are the hobbies you want to get involved in? What are you passionate about? What are the new passions, or what are the passions that you want to rediscover? Or what are passions you've always had that for things, or a hobby, or something you want to do? Maybe you want to take language lessons. Maybe you want to learn French. Maybe you want to learn to make, exotic cuisines. Maybe you want to take a dance class. Maybe you want to go into ballroom dancing. Whatever that looks like for you, what are you eager to experience? What are you eager to express? And what do you truly desire that you want to tap into right now? Because when you put that all together, that is how you're going to reignite your sexy self, right? Maybe you want to give yourself some form of a makeover. And that maybe looks like, have I been dressing or enjoying clothing, and like doing my hair, styling things up? Sometimes that little bit of a makeover can have you remember who you really are. I'm not telling you to wear tons of makeup. I'm not telling you to like be someone you're not. But sometimes paying attention and pampering yourself, right? Like if you're, when you think about a star, right? A celebrity or starlet, like they get all zhuzhed up for their premieres. What is your premiere? What do you want to show up for? What is something you're so excited about? Maybe you're writing a book about your journey, right? Maybe you're thinking about down the road, how do I want to look at my book premiere, right? There's so many things you can think about. What is the premiere in your life, right? So I want you to think about what you're eager to experience and express, and what are your true desires for yourself, because it's time you're center stage, right? It's time to reignite that sexy self.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know what? And I think that when we're focusing on the essence of ourselves, and we are doing all these various different steps that you had mentioned, you are going to end up being, the individual is going to end up being so attractive, because they're, with all of this, their essence are going to be, their vibration's going to be up, everything's going to be there, and they're going to feel and be so attractive to everyone. And so who doesn't want to be with that kind of person? That's why all of the actors and actresses and things like that, we're all attracted to them, right? And it's not necessarily because they are the best looking, but if they have that glow about them, that essence about them, which is exactly what you're sharing with us. And so that's what we want to have in our lives. That's where we want to end up feeling, because it's all about really how we feel at the end of the day, isn't it? It truly
Absolutely. It's definitely about the way you feel.
Yeah.
And our feelings and our thoughts can create our lives, right? And how you feel about yourself is something that you always want to check in with, right? We don't want to look for outside validation. We want to be who we are and attract what is aligned with who we are and what it is we desire for ourselves. A lot of the time, this journey can feel challenging, right? You can reignite that sexy self and then may think about like your ex and what you wish you would have had. Maybe if I was like this before, this would have worked out. But it's not about that. It's really for you to understand that you couldn't be that person with the past person. And that's something to think about. You didn't do anything wrong in the sense of like, it's over. You're going to learn from the choices that you made. But in this moment, if you were not able to be yourself with that person, if you didn't feel safe to be this person with your ex? There's a reason, right? So we don't want to look back and think we could have changed a million things. We can learn, as in we can change now, in the sense that I will honor myself now going forward in my relationships. I always tell my clients when they're going through their love breakthrough session, which is like the first session we do within one of my programs, it's important to we look at the history, and then we look at, your love examples, your love identity, and your love story. And those three things are my love breakthrough method, are really about who were the examples that you saw growing up, right, in your love life, like your family, like your parents, what was their relationship like, or your guardian, whoever raised you. What were the examples of relationships that you saw in front of you based on their behaviors? We unconsciously take that in. That has us develop a love identity. We're saying that we're too difficult, or I'm too challenging, or I must, be the one to do the hard work in love. And then we start telling a story that I do this because, I'm hard to love, or I'm not lovable, and relationships aren't easy for me because I'm too smart, or I'm too independent, right? And I think that we have these narratives based on those examples that have us develop that identity, that have us telling these stories that I'm going to be single forever, or, I can't make relationships work, when it's just based on narratives that we unconsciously absorbed. So I help my clients go through healing those things, discovering what they are and healing them, and breaking through to the other side to create new empowered commitments and new love stories. You get to create your love story. You get to be the leading lady and leading person in your love life by deciding how you want things to go, not by controlling, by aligning and attracting what's right for you.
Wow, this is great. I tell you, I'm so pleased you're going to be on Date the Right One too. So I want to share that with everyone. You're going to be on that show, and we're going to talk more. And there's just so much to talk about. This is really awesome information. I want to thank you so much. Time gone by very, very quickly. I want to make sure that we share everything. You can reach her at her website, which is Lisa Talks Love. That's Lisa Talk TALKS, and then love LOVE.com. Make sure you reach her right there on that website. She's also offering a free gift to anyone that's listening to the show. You just go to lisatalkslove.com and then free gift. So you want to do that. So lisatalkslove.com, free gift. Wow, we covered so much in this show. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And Lisa, you are truly wonderful. I want to thank you so much for all that you're offering us here today. And it's wonderful having you on the show. Are there any last closing words you'd like to say to the audience?
Sure. And thank you for having me, Cece. I love the community that you created here. This is amazing to support experts and support listeners who are definitely on that journey, going solo, healing, and then also thriving on their own and building wonderful lives. And that will lead to the romantic life that they choose. So I want to leave you with saying that everyone listening, everyone watching, trust that you matter, trust that you are enough, and trust that you are valuable. Remember to love by example.
Oh, well, beautifully said. Thank you so much. We really, truly appreciate you and all that you do. And we can't wait to have you back again on Date the Right One. So you guys check it out. We've got it on our website. You guys can definitely join us back for that show. We really appreciate you. So again, you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We're on the Going Solo Life After Relationship Loss. Again, you can find all our information on goingSoloMedia.com. We've got a new face. So just check it out. Check out our new site, and we hope that you'll like it. We just kind of updated a little bit, but we're really trying to get into the wave of things and really gain momentum as we progress here in the station. So I hope you guys like what you heard. Of course, you guys can reach out to me. I love to hear from you. I absolutely do. I read all of my emails myself. goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. Just email me. I love to get your emails. I want to thank you so much for that. Again, it's goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. And you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We're going to have to run. Thank you, everything. Thank you, Lisa, very much. We appreciate you. All right. Bye.